AI use cases for you. Here are the best AI tips from the first 8 episodes. Enjoy. You're listening to the Streamline Success Show. I'm your host, Dagmar Schuld. In this podcast, we talk about how AI and automation can help busy coaches like you simplify their online businesses. We share practical advice that you can start using immediately. First is Jared Trecker with a tool that has transformed his coaching calls. How did you first get introduced to AI and to Fathom, and what made you decide to implement that into your business?
Yeah, I mean, I think I heard about it when like the chat GPT craze kind of went on, right? That's probably the first that I actually started to understand like what it was. And, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like went deep into it, but I definitely looked at it, was kind of, looking at some of the different tools. I'm all about how can I make my life easier? And
Yeah.
to me, it sounded like, hey, here's this thing that's designed to make your life easier.
Yeah.
So I was like, I guess I'll look into this, right? So, I guess I first started using it when, I don't know, I tried a few things that, you could tell it was just very early stages and they were clunky and didn't really work out the best. And you would try to mess with it. And I'm like, that's not what I wanted. So it got frustrating. And then I came across the Fathom tool, which I was telling you about, which we can dive into today. And man, it's changed the way that I do my coaching calls. I mean, I do a ton of coaching
Mhm.
calls. That's what we do for our business. And, I went from sitting there like trying to type out all these notes while I'm trying to sit here and listen to someone and have a conversation to, man, like that's just done for me. And like it was pretty accurate. And, I've been using it for about a year now, I would say.
Mhm.
So
Well,
much so, I use it so much so now that I became an ambassador for them, and I recommend it to a ton of people, and I genuinely just like love what they do. And yeah, I mean, it's cut my time from like number one having to try to remember everything to now it's done for me. And the coaching notes that I send out and have to keep for our record went from like 15 minutes, 20 minutes for every call down to like 3, and I could get it sent off back into an email, back to them, like, with the recording, with hyperlinks, with exactly, like, everything outlined to where it just made it better for everyone.
next is Karina Snyder with how to schedule content for the entire week. How much time does it need you to go over now about the things that ChatGPT created for you and make it your own? Do you have still a lot to do, or is it decreasing over time?
Usually I can sit down. What I try to do is I sit down once a week and I go through and I get an idea of what my content's going to be for the week. I know I've been slacking a little bit because of this launch, so I've took a break from social media for a couple of weeks. But what I was doing is I would go and I would try to at least do a week's worth of content. And that took me about an hour and a half on one day. But before it would have took me for like a lot longer. So I feel like with all of the customizations and the things that I've put into it and trained ChatGPT on, it has helped me to come up with ideas very quickly. And they're really great ideas. And I can just tweak it and then schedule, pretty much put it in a calendar kind of thing and schedule my post for the entire week. And I don't have to worry about it through the week.
Next is Joseph S. Kahn. And Joseph tells you how to get instant traffic with AI powered SEO. Coming back to SEO, how did
Yes,
AI change your approach to SEO?
drastically and massively. And what I mean by that is now when I do keyword research, I use ChatGPT or use the mini chat or use an engine and ask it. It gives the best keywords that are out there. Keep in mind that ChatGPT or AI has researched the entire internet, meaning the whole internet is in its database. So all the articles, all the content, all the everything. So when you ask and say, acting as an SEO professional, it's going to pull from its SEO professional database and say, or not even acting as that, say acting as a homeowner. It's going to pull from all the homeowner database and say, what would you be typing in the search engine if you were looking for a junk removal company, fill in the blank, whatever the search, if you were looking, what would you put in if you were a homeowner? What would you be putting in that's super juicy, gonna excite you, gonna like leverage all the words you possibly can and give me 50 of these potential searches. You don't ask for it. You don't go, that's got this criteria. It's got that criteria. It's not an SEO tool. So it doesn't know the criteria, but what it does know is humanity. Okay. So it does know what potential homeowners could be typing in if they're looking for roof repair from somebody who's safe, somebody who's caring, somebody who's put these characteristics in there and then say, give me 50 keywords. And then I take those keywords and throw it into Google Planner and see if there's any traffic. And I will tell you this, and anybody listening to this is as easy as it is. If you have Merlin or ChatGPT or whatever, go to ChatGPT and say, I'm looking for a client that's trying to build his local coaching business or build her local coaching business. I'm looking for a client. What are they typing in the search engine that's got volume, that's got traffic? And give me 50 of these. You take those 50, throw it into Google Planner, it's free, and it'll tell you this had 20 searches, that had 20 searches, and who's difficult, who's not. And I will tell you every single time I've done this, and I've done it live many, many, many times, we've always found words that we could rank for next week and get traffic for next week.
Wow, that's huge.
That's how quick and easy it is. Why? Because everybody was using SEMrush, Ahrefs, all these tools, but they're not asking the AI come up with something different than nobody else is thinking. You're basically now using AI in the database and going, what are potentials here? That's a totally different thought process than all the other guys and girls who are out there creating content. So it shows the lowest hanging fruit. And so that's what I do every single time now. For every client we take on, we have at least 10 to 20 pages we create that gets you traffic within the week. And why? Because we've used ChatGPT to find juicy keywords that nobody else is ranking for. And then we use AI to create that content. We say, based on this user, based on their desires, now create me a piece of content that's, that matches the competition that will fulfill what this person wants, and then put that up and it ranks and gets traffic. So that's kind of our process. So we harmonize with that, get ChatGPT to tell us what it thinks would be good keywords to go after. Then we put that in a planner, see which ones are the best. Then we go, this is the content we need to create. And these are the keywords we need to create it around.
Oh,
And that's what we do with AI. So AI has completely changed the process. So we use AI to hone that copy in, because it'll write the copy and tell you how to rank for that copy. And then we use AI to find what that person may be looking for. I don't even need to know homeowners or need to know their problems at all. I just need to know what they're looking for. And then I'd throw that into ChatGPT. It already knows all their psychology. It already knows all of those details. I don't know, but it does. So that's why I just tell it to come up with it.
wow. And here's Kathy Bates. Kathy talks about how to write a successful book. There are different stages in writing a book, I've learned. Can you tell me a little bit about these stages and how you can use AI in these different stages?
Sure. So it goes back to some of what I've already said. If there's the stage of, oh, I think I want to write a book, or I have an idea for a book. And so the example I gave about the debt, that would be an example of, I want to write a book about this, but I'm not really sure that beyond that, really how I want to approach it. You could, and then there's, okay, so you have your topic. How do I get started? One of the things that's important when you're writing a book is to know who your audience is. And so you could plug into ChatGPT everything that you can think of. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. This is who I want to reach. I think these people, whatever. Can you help me come up with a defining who my audience really is? And again, give it as many parameters as possible. And then you go on to you're collecting your thoughts and you're getting your outline. And a lot of people struggle with the outline. And there's more to that story, which I won't get into here. That's in my training. But you can take your thoughts for your book and, again, detail and have AI help you to write your outline. Your outline is really just a guide to help you get an idea of what order you want to put things in and to stay focused on the content so you don't forget certain content. So it can help you write your outline. As you're writing your book, you might get stuck with wording, how you're stuck on something. Like I was struggling with something the other day and I'm like, I know what I want to say, but I can't get the words out the right way. So I plugged it into AI and it reworded it for me. And I'm like, yes, that's what I was trying to say. So you can let it help you reword things. AI at that point is not writing it for you. It's just rewording what you've already written. So
Yeah.
you're not abusing AI. And then you go on to your editing and so forth, and you can have it look it over and see if there's grammar and that type of thing. Now, there's different types of AI tools for that. I wouldn't really use ChatGPT myself. You can, but there's other ones like Grammarly and just other ones that you can plug that stuff in. That's what it's for. And it will tell you if you have grammar issues or spelling and things like that. So that's all AI that you can use through different stages of your writing process.
Well, next is Kevin Dunlap. Kevin and I are talking about how to effortlessly create social media content. So it's a lot about content marketing because that is how you go out and make yourself visible on social media. And definitely can AI help on this way. And it can even, so that is something that I tested out. You can tell ChatGPT or other AI tools, you can tell them, make this article for LinkedIn or make this article for Instagram or for Facebook. And it has another tonality to it and another length to it and uses emojis or not. So that is something interesting too. Did you test something like that?
I have there was a website or a company that I used about a year ago that they would create your social media content. So you either using images that you imported or images that they created themselves, and then they will go and create your X/Twitter post, LinkedIn post, Facebook post, and Instagram post, and they would change it based upon the link that was usable on those platforms. So like Twitter or X, you have to keep it very short. LinkedIn and Facebook, it can be longer. Instagram has to be more image based.
Yeah.
So it would go and create that stuff within 60 to 90 seconds and be able for you to go there and just hit post and put whatever other additional material that you want to do in there, like hashtags and stuff like that.
And here is Joy Nicholson. And she speaks about how to revolutionize marketing, the rise of smart chatbots. What advice would you give to people that may be a little bit hesitant to use AI because they're maybe not tech savvy or they think they are not or they have ethical problems?
As a business, if you're not going to adapt it in your marketing, in your day-to-day, in your automation, all of that stuff, you are going to be left behind where other people, I mean, you're going to be in your tractor while your competitor is going to be in a Ferrari. That's the reality. That's how it's going to look for you.
Yeah.
And to avoid that, it's better to get on board. This is the beautiful thing about AI. You do not need to be tech savvy. You don't need to be. All you need to do is think logical and have conversations. And there's courses out there that teach you about ChatGPT that is thousands of dollars. You don't need to spend that. All you need to do is play with ChatGPT for an hour every day. And you just need to understand the principles, act like, because it needs to have a role in the style of, or like what we've done is we're teaching our ChatGPTs to, and the custom ones that we've got in plans and so on, we teach them to be that brand ambassador, that marketing assistant. And that's all you need to do is just teach it to be like you, sound like you. And that's where the authenticity comes in, because then it's not unethical and you're not going to use it to be unethical. I mean, obviously there's evil people. You're going to get it. It's going to happen. But I mean, as a person, you can choose to not do that. And you can teach it to be authentic and not steal information. And that's the other thing. You get like a tool like Perplexity, where if you use, Perplexity, it actually gives you the resources of the information. I think Claude does the same, where ChatGPT can hallucinate and it might not give you all of the information. It might just make up websites, and because it's there to please you, it's like your child that just wants to like make you happy, and it will just make up stuff to make you happy. And that's where that's kind of where you have to like, okay, this doesn't seem okay. And the human comes in and you're like, look, I know this topic and this doesn't sound all right. And then you either go to another AI tool like Perplexity or Claude, or you just go and do good old Google and you go and search it up. And that's kind of how you make sure that you stay ethical with everything and authentic.
Next is Rob Sowell. And Rob is talking about the power of AI in education.
I'm not going to get into all that here, but the point being that AI can be used to hone in and target certain aspects and certain things to show us what we're really looking for, and to try and distill the information into what's really necessary. And coupled with that is the fact that education in general is, of course, moving in a technological way and advancing more and more technologically. And when we hit the pandemic there in 2020, there was a lot of home classes and a lot of at-home kids sitting at home and their teachers on Zoom, and everybody's in a Zoom meeting. And that got some mixed results. Okay, there were some students who were into that. There was quite a few who weren't, and it was a struggle, right? And now that AI has come along, there would be, I'm quite certain, heaven forbid we have another incident like that in this world, we're better prepared for it this time, not only by the experience, but also something like AI can help to, again, get the lesson material structured in a way that can benefit kids a lot quicker, I think. And it's a great tool. That's the important thing, I think, to remember also, is that AI is simply a tool, right? It's something that we can use as human beings to help and to educate ourselves and to enhance our lives. But it isn't something that we should put all our eggs in that basket and just decide to go with whatever AI says. There's got to be discretion, right? And that's really what I believe. That's one of the reasons that AI is never really going to take over. I know there are people who fear that AI is going to take over the world. I think there's a couple of things that kind of stand in the way of that. Is number one is human reasoning.
And last but not least, here is Sam Morrison-Wilson. And Sam is talking about repurposing content. How did you start with this project to write this journal?
Yeah. So I knew that the goal was going to be to turn it into a journal. But I am a really big fan of repurposing content. I don't like to create something just one time. I'm a big fan of repurposing. And so basically I created the 30 days and used it on social media with the affirmation, with the task, and with the prompt, and also used it in my community. And so I started asking ChatGPT questions, and I find that the better the question you ask, better answer you're going to get.
Yeah.
And then also I use some things that I've created myself that are in my voice, and I'll say, this is how I would have said that. Can you create more that sound like me? And it's really cool when you can have it trained to sound more like you, so that when women read my emails, because I use automation, ChatGPT to create, you get a Friday email from me, Dagmar, didn't write it. I mean, I wrote it, right? And I tweaked it, and it sounds like something I would say. But I have the whole year is done and scheduled. I'm not doing that every week. It's already done.
That's cool.
Because I have really found that for me, I went through a training program in 2019 that helped me understand who I was and helped me know my strengths and stuff. And discipline and consistency are like at the bottom. And so I have to find ways, because it's important to me, and responsibility is really high. Connections is really high. So I have to find a way to make that work. So I like to create in bulk, get it scheduled with just a due date to know that, 11 months from now, I need to do it again. and get a whole nother year's done so I did 52 weeks of, it probably took me 3 or 4 weeks to get it done, but they're done for the whole year.
That's awesome. Thank you for tuning in to the Streamline Success Show. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, and to get access to today's show notes, head over to community.marketingunraveled.com. See you on the next episode.